Uno de los aspectos más controversiales de la revolución de los genes es el patentado de las semillas.
There was a very good reason why, for virtually 200 years, the Patent Office and Congress did not allow for the patenting of life.
En Estados Unidos, la Constitución garantiza el derecho a patentar. Los cultivos alimenticios no se podían patentar por razones morales. En los años 30, a los mejoradores genéticos se les permitió patentar su trabajo, pero estas patentes no cubrían las generaciones futuras de semillas.
Clearly when you patent a tennis racket, let's say with a new sweet spot, you can describe that very accurately to the Patent Office. But how in the world can you describe a whole plant, much less generations down when that's changed and mutated?
En 1978, el Dr. Ananda Chakrabarty fue el primero en pedir una patente de un ser vivo.
Chakrabarty was an engineer for General Electric, and he created an oil-eating microbe and tried to get it patented. And the U.S. Patent Office said, no way, we do not allow you to patent parts of nature. If you have a tennis racket or a toaster, you can patent that, but you can't patent a part of nature. But General Electric and Chakrabarty were very insistent. They took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And at one vote majority decision, they said, you can patent this genetically engineered microbe. Interestingly enough, this oil-eating microbe was never used because even though it did eat oil and oil spills, it apparently ate a lot of other things for dessert.
Las puertas se abrieron para la ingeniería genética.
During the Reagan administration, they said, let's patent animals. And then human genes and human body parts. I think what the companies would like to say is, we are patenting the gene. And wherever that gene goes, we own anything that we put it in. If it goes into a plant, we own the plant. If it goes into an animal, we own the animal. They might even say around the world, if it goes into a human being, we own that human being. There would be some constitutional problems with that in the United States. But they clearly would want their patent to follow the gene.
La cuestión de las patentes sobre la vida nunca se ha sometido al voto del pueblo o del Congreso de los Estados Unidos.
It means giving corporations, incredibly, the power to own, control the species of the earth.
Mientras las corporaciones patentaban todo lo que podían, también estaban ocupadas en otro frente.
Starting in about 1995, the stock market was running up, and Monsanto was buying up seed companies, and DuPont was buying Pioneer, and there was this, basically, the U.S. pesticide industry bought the seed industry for all intents and purposes.
Monsanto invierte $8,000 millones en empresas de semillas. En los 90, las corporaciones empiezan a patentar tanto semillas genéticamente modificadas como semillas no modificadas. El único requisito es que no estuvieran patentadas.
It's one of the wonderful things about what our government has done for the years with seeds is trying to save seeds so that we can preserve biodiversity. What companies have done is gone into those seed banks, find the seeds that aren't patented, and patent them. And as long as they're the first person at the patent office, they get the patent.
Se calcula que Monsanto es dueña de 11,000 patentes.
Why would corporations do this? Because then they can take the one seed they want to use to replace all these seeds, and it will own the marketplace.
No solo el maíz transgénico ha levantado polémica en torno a las patentes en México.
Current international system of patents does not protect in any way traditional knowledge, and we have had a number of problems in Mexico related to that. I think there are 3 or 4 applications for patents for tortillas, like it was a new thing, like somebody had invented tortillas, which of course have existed for 3,000, 5,000 years, we don't know. First of all, some people will debate, and I think it is a worthwhile debate, if life should be patented at all. And that's a discussion that humanity as a species hasn't done properly. And it is a sort of pending homework, something we need to do.
In 1994, on Christmas Eve, by the way, for the first time we said, you know what, we're going to try and have international rules on patenting. This was driven, of course, by the United States. And here's what's behind it. If you have gone into a third world country and you've patented a plant or a tree, the United States wants to be able to go back to that country and say, no one in this country, even though this plant originated here, can use it without paying us the patent fee. To do that, they've got to harmonize patent laws around the world. That's really the big prize for the corporations. It's one thing to make sure we're controlling the US market, but if we can take these plants that we've gotten from the third world and make sure that no one in the third world can use them without paying the companies that patent fee, that's the big bonanza for the corporations.
The generalized perception in Latin America, I also think in Mexico, and many other parts of the world also, the new unipolar system has benefited the United States more than it has benefited the minorities of impoverished countries of the world. This is an issue of big concern because there are not so many political alternatives around. We may eventually go back to despotic types of rule that I don't think will help in any way to make countries like Latin America or Africa or Asia progress. We really need compassion for the people in the world that have less.
The resistance to globalization is that it stems from the insights of some people that, you know, the corporations, they want to be able to go in and make the money, but they don't want responsibility when things don't work out.
One of the most ironic parts of the fact that the biotechnology industry is saying that it's going to feed the world is that it has created a new technology called Terminator technology. And this technology is basically a suicide gene that's put into crops, so after one planting, they commit suicide. You cannot save the seed because the seed then is sterile. It will lead to no crops in the next season. There's 15 patents by first world companies on this suicide technology. Can you imagine what is going to happen if that suicide gene pollutes crops around the world?
A few years earlier, a lot of people were saying, well, won't these technologies outcross into all species? And the promoters said, no, there will be no outcrossing. And then just in a few short years, they were back saying, well, okay, there is outcrossing, but now we have a new technology that'll help deal with that. And this, of course, raises the question, well, what about outcrossing of the Terminator gene?
También están desarrollando una tecnología traidora para que los agricultores tengan que rociar su terreno con un químico específico antes de que las semillas puedan germinar.
We have the potential of ending up with green deserts where you don't see the difference. You know, the environment will continue to be green, but it is being transformed from inside. And when that cracks, when that monoculture breaks down, it's going to be very massive.
I believe that the patenting of crops that extend to the progeny, in other words, the seed that a crop produces, like soybeans here, which cannot be kept controlled or kept separated on our farms, is nothing short of insane.